Well, this ought to be interesting. Hello everyone and welcome to round 9 of the NEF1 Season 10 Championship. We are here for the Dutch Grand Prix, and as you can see, it is absolutely pissing it down for, I believe, the third week out of the last 4. We have rain in qualifying. Will it stay for the race? Well, I certainly hope so. This is quite interesting indeed, as this is one of the tracks where you definitely would not want it. High speed circuit, a lot of fast and flowing corners. We want that absolute extra downforce just to be able to send it into those almost flat right-handers through Sector 2. You won't be able to do that in this qualifying session, let me tell you that. It's also made overtaking even more complicated than it already was. This is going to be interesting indeed, as Thunderpass says hello and saying a wet qualifying will be fun to watch, and absolutely will. Immediately my attention is on Luna, who has been very, very good in the rain so far this season, but hasn't quite been able to get that full wet session in under her belt. Let's see if that changes tonight then, as we are absent our championship leader Squidge for at least the opening stages of this qualifying session. We'll see if he shows up mid-qualifying or for the Grand Prix that is to come. It is a bit uncertain at the moment. If not, then this is a perfect hunting ground for Test to start climbing back into this championship, because the last couple of weeks have been catastrophic for him. On board then with Ray W25, who I thought was just having a bit of a moment there, but that was just him turning into the corner, so do very much apologize for that. And everyone's on intermediate tires, we can take that graph straight away and go on to the scene then, where Ray and Matty are quickly out on track trying to get a lap in here early. And as I previously mentioned, under these conditions you do usually improve a little bit over the course of a run as well. You can do 2-3 laps on a set of tires without them losing any performance, maybe even gaining performance. So here we go, Ray W25 through the last corner, flat at this bit, and on to the start-finish straight. What'll be very, very interesting. See here then is a beat in the chrome McLaren as well, which looks absolutely brilliant. I believe that is the livery that the McLaren is going to be sporting for the rest of this season, and we look forward to seeing more livery changes like this on several cars down the field when those liveries drop, as Ray's already lost his lap time due to being a bit creative with his interpretation of track limits. There we go then, Matty Adam 98 going round sector 1, goes purple, has got his teammate ahead of him, will need to get out of the way. Matty just dips a tire in the grass there. I'm finished a close P. I completely lost what I was about to say there. Had a very good race last time out in Austria, I was just about to say. Finishing a good second place, if I'm not mistaken. So we go then, Matty through sector 2, goes purple, but I believe he'd be the first one to cross them. And it's still raining it down with 14:20 to go. So then Matty through the final corner, how quickly can he get on the gas and just power out of our final corner, relatively early for Matty that is, and on for what'll be a 122.4. 457, as for Noah, it's about 0.2 of a second slower. Luna's about to start her flying lap, so we'll keep an eye on that. As for Jamar going through the chicane, he's not going to be liking these conditions on that controller, let me tell you that, and I think we can just confirm that by seeing that little bit of a kick out as Djokovic does a 121.764. As here we go then, Jamar goes P6 with his lap time, and Luna is coming up to the end of sector 1. See what she's able to drag out of that. Sauber missing her teammate Emrena for this session. 28-1 goes purple in the first sector. Oh, it's almost a little bit of sideways moment, but not anything to worry about. As here we go, and on to the back DRS straight. No DRS will be allowed in qualifying then due to the wet conditions. We'll see if it just starts drying up towards the end, but I really don't, I really hope it won't. Just allow it to stay wet for a session. As Matty goes quickest with a 121.6, just showing that you can definitely improve over the course of a lap. Noah's improved on his first run as well, and Tess is sitting in 4th. So then Luna pushing a lot, goes up to P4, 121.8. Followed by Djokovic's 121.187. So Djokovic is looking strong in these conditions. And there we go, Squidge 2017 will be racing here in the Netherlands as well. Brilliant to see. The championship battle continues on uninterrupted. Pullman here rounds the final corner in just a moment. How quickly can you get on power? Relatively well. And onto the back straight. So here we go then for Holman. It's P13, 123.719. I'm going to see relatively large pace discrepancies. Looking at this man as well, Hybrid 472K, who took a podium last week out in brilliant fashion in Austria. Is he about to get a mean dose of reality potentially here in Netherlands? Shall wait and see what goes on. As there we go, Squidge has appeared in his Ferrari. I'll be joining us in not too long. And he'll be liking these conditions as well, the Squidge. He usually does fancy a bit of a wet session. It's on board then with Beat in his new McLaren. It actually looks way better from the onboards than the unchromed one. Looks very, very calm heading into that corner, and that's because it was. Going on board with Ray W25, and is he pushing one bit? No, he is not. Okay, so Luna surprising me a little bit here by coming in after one single lap, not opting to do several like others are doing. As you can see, their undercheck improves up to 120.946. And I'm missing all of these laps, but it's impossible to actually predict right now who will be improving. As Matty saying conditions are improving, and yeah, it looks like the rain is just stopped pouring down a little bit. But you can also see a very, very clear, drier line out on the circuit, where the grip will be significantly higher than the first couple of laps, and that'll give you well over a second in terms of lap time over the course of a lap than if you were running under full wet conditions. As Squidge 2017 now out on track, championship leader has a commanding grip of this championship right now as well. 40-point advantage heading into the second half of the season, as Noah goes fastest out of anyone, 120.769. And how will the Ever Williams of Wigan fare, who's had a very, very difficult start to his 10th season running in NEF1 Esports? Tess goes quickest out of anyone by almost half a second over Noah, as Djokovic proceeds to take that back, and Wigan comes into the pit lane. Djokovic is looking good here, it's promising to see. Squidge then, has he got a setup for these conditions? We'll wait and see what he is able to produce here. So then, braking for the fast corner, a lot of squealing under braking. Track conditions are definitely improving. You'll want to be posting your laps at the very, very last possible moment here. Almost calm and collected there for Squidge, maybe a little bit too calm even, and for some reason lost the rear coming out of the exit. Just actually, you can see that moves into the slightly wetter patches when it doesn't really impact them on the straight. So that's just for a bit of tire cooling, but it's not stuck to that drier line, as you can see. Very, very happy to just dib a wheel in on the wetter patch. Does it again. You can see just here and there, there's a very, very clear drier line forming, but Squidge opting to quite regularly go onto the slightly damper part. You see, early turn in turns into quite an early apex for the left-hander as well, and now only 2 corners to go here for the championship leader. Is he going to be able to show up? Djokovic, Tess, and Noah are currently sitting in top 3. Zondercheck now is taking that top spot away by a 120.111. As here comes Squidge then. It's not quite going to be that good. It's a 121.303. It's the first lap of his session though. Be able to improve on that as a BT's running final corner just now. He's got a Red Bull on the racing line. And what are you doing? What are you doing there, Hybrid? Oh, and that is going to leave a BT absolutely fuming, as I believe he might have been on the fast lap up until then as well. Unfortunate situation there between a BT and Hybrid. Middle stage of qualifying though. However, it's not the last stage of qualifying, thankfully. It will allow BT to do a new front wing on that car and go again. Iwat has popped into the top 10 with a 121.201. It's a decent lap. As Luna out on circuit now on her second run of session. Not improving on her own personal best at all throughout the first sector. She's going to keep pushing on for the second and third. We'll wait and see. But yeah, reactions to that moment in chat as well. I'd say justified reactions as well. That's not an ideal place having to let someone go that bank corner. But when you find yourself in the way, usually just better, as we didn't see there, to stick to your line and let the car coming up adjust than having both of you adjust. Because obviously as the car coming up to someone, your natural instinct is going to be to avoid a collision. So here we go then. Luna is going to cross the line, is not going to improve by a second and a half. Now then, yet another go here for the Zandvoort driver with 5:40 to go, and time is slowly running out. But still a lot of running left to do this session. 6 minutes. And this looks significantly tidier, and it's up a second for the first sector alone. If she didn't improve anymore for the second and third sector, that would already be provisional pole position. Luna flying in these types of conditions yet again. It's absolutely one of the best drivers in wet conditions in New Era. See, the car's just dancing around. Absolutely brilliant technique. I don't know quite what she's doing, but this is well on her way to being quickest out of anyone, and by a margin as well. We'll wait and see when Djokovic and Matti post their respective lap times. We're awaiting another lap from Squidge as well. He is right now out of that lap. He's going through sector 1. As here comes Luna then, expected to go P1 and does so by a second over Ondercheck. Brilliant lap. There we go then. Squidge is improving through sector 1, but not as much as it's short-lived delight for Luna, as Matti goes quicker by 1/2 of a second immediately. But Luna very much up there in terms of pace, and will have one more go at this. So Squidge then coming up to the back of a Red Bull. He'll be wary after what happened to ABT just a couple of minutes ago. Yellow flags through sector 2. So then runs the final corner, does Squidge 2017. Currently sitting down in P12. Circuit where it's going to be hard to overtake. Djokovic has gone fastest. Is Squidge going to be able to challenge? Not on this lap, let me tell you that. Squidge does not really have the pace right now to challenge at the front. He's over a second behind. Djokovic is quickest, Matti is second, and Luna is third. So then Luna coming into the pit lane one more time to get a new set of tyres on, get one more go out there. Are we going to have a wet race is the question as well. It's going to be interesting when we find out in a couple of minutes time. Wigan has improved up to a P6. He's having a good session. Ondercheck, who just a moment ago was P1, is currently sitting in P8. Which I think is just telling you basically everything you need to know about a session like this. He needs to improve by just over a second in order to make it into P1 again. And I have a feeling we're going to see somewhere around that rate of improvement from the one-time NEF1 champion. Be surprised if we don't. As well for Tess, he's just crossed the sector 1 split. We didn't get the sector time. We are getting that time for Ondercheck, and it is purple. So, Ondercheck right now, fastest man out on circuit, putting pressure on Djokovic and Matty. Luna as well, well up there, along with Mr. Wilco's having a good season in his Haas. Very, very strong season for Mr. Wilco. Here we go then, Ondercheck. Is it going to go fastest? He does, and by a margin as well. 4.5 tenths of a second over Djokovic. Squidge then, what is he going to do this session? Is he charging up or is he on his final run? Tess on his final run as well, potentially. Coming around the final corner, is he going to start one more just after this? He improves up to P7. But is that going to... he's going to fall down further from there, isn't he? Squidge 2017 is finding time through the first sector. Now, through the second sector, should be able to find a bit more time. Ondercheck, Djokovic will go on board with those in just a moment. Is Djokovic actually just about to cross the line? He's not far off it, is he? I don't believe, yeah, this is going to be an improvement. Is this going to be an improvement lap? No, it's going to be an out lap. Never mind. So here we go then for Djokovic, one final go at it. As for Squidge, he's now rounding the final corner, needs everything to go smoothly, nothing ahead of him, and now it's just flat and battery to the start-finish rate. P4 for Squidge. Good lap. As for Jamar, he's throwing it into Sector 1. Tess, what is he doing? He is coming around Sector 2, but he's slowed down significantly. He's going to have one more go at this right at the very end of the session. Good timing there from Tess, leaving himself with the best possible chance that he can. Here we go then. Djokovic is improving by 2 tenths of a second. Ondercheck, is he going to be able to get one more go in? Coming around the final corner, but he's only got a couple of seconds to go. We can't get the timer up, but I think he just might make it here. Yeah, he does. Ondercheck just makes it across the line to start one more lap. That being said, we still can't get the timer up, which is really buggering me. And there we go, checker flag has dropped. Okay, Djokovic is going to be coming up the line very, very shortly. Here we go, Wigan, is he going to come into the pit lane? Yeah, he is. P9 at best for Wigan then. He is going to fall down further. Mr. Wilco was just P4 a moment ago, ended up P7. Djokovic, is he going to improve up to P1? Yes, he does, by 2 tenths of a second. Next across the line is going to be one of the Ferraris. That's Jamar, he's coming into the pit lane. Then we have a Red Bull. Is that Kit or a hybrid? That is Kit who's about to come across into the pit lane. What is it going to be for the Red Bull man? It is going to be no better than 16th place. Luna coming up to the pit lane. Is it going to be P1? It's going to be P2 for Luna. Nas for Matty Adam. Is it going to be P1? Yes, it is. Matty Adam goes P1. Tess is just about to come across the line. What is it going to be for Tess? 15th. Was that Iwatts? That was Iwatts. Just now coming across the line is Tess, and it's up into P2 for Tess. Brilliant effort. Squidge had to slow down on his final lap. Not going to be any better than 7th place for him, unfortunately. BT just comes across the line then, and it's 6th place for BT. We have a front row of Matty and Ondercheck with Tess in 3rd, Djokovic in 4th, Luna in 5th, with a BT qualifying well in 6th despite his hardships. Noah in 7th, Squidge in 8th, Wilco in 9th, and Jamar in 10th. Wigan just outside, along with Ray Recon 12th and 13th. Iwatts in 14th, Max in 15th, Hybrid, Holman, and Kit lining up the rear of the field. Matty makes it 2 pole positions in a row here in New Era, from not quite fancying qualifying just a couple of weeks ago to now well and truly having found his rhythm. So there we can see we have the final result board up on our screen. He takes pole position by just less than 0.2 of a second. So it's a healthy margin out in front as well. Relatively large field spread of about 2.5 seconds. That's to be expected in the wet. But Matti Ondráček Tess is your front three, with Djokovic with a good position in P4, Luna with a P5. That is very, very promising signs indeed. So we're shortly heading into the race that looks like it's going to be dry for the time being, but that is a few minutes away. My hope is that we're going to be able to get in a certain Matti for a little bit of a pre-race interview as well, but it's my hope. So let me just work on that for a brief moment before I get back to you. As here we go, I can see we have Matti Adam 98 in the party. Can you hear me, Matti? And is everything seemingly working? I think so. We'll wait for stream confirmation, as it's the. It's a bit of a weird one. Everything's seemingly working on my end. Sad, I'm saying we can't hear Matti, which is very, very weird. Checkbox and everything is there. I can hear you. I don't know if the stream can. I've got one more trick up my sleeve before we abandon this if this doesn't work. So we'll wait for confirmation if you just blabber on about something. Well, that should be sufficient enough. Okay, so I'm gonna try one more thing before we abandon this little idea and maybe scratch it off the season for good, because it doesn't seem to be working. So if you just give me 1 second, we'll try something. Okay, so what I did is I tried to re-include the audio. I don't know, you should have a new checkbox. Hopefully it's unchecked itself. That is the...
Saying I've read on the chat box.
As then we'll just have to wait and see.
I've got it, but the audio's a bit shot. But
well, it'll be better than nothing. Then it'll have to do. Welcome to the stream, Matti, Adam, and welcome to the front row of the grid once again for the second week in a row.
Yep, don't know where that came from at all.
Indeed, I've just got to ask you, seemingly a bit down and out in qualifying last season out, a bit of a rougher patch this season and early on as well. Now, 2 pole positions in a row. What on earth has happened?
I don't know, to be honest. I really don't know. Yeah. It's just a case of just driving out my shoes like I normally do and just hope, really. I mean, these past few races I've been quite confident, but this race I wasn't, so it's kind of like it's thrown me a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. Obviously, wet conditions playing a massive part, especially at a circuit like this, where finding grip is going to be so absolutely important. But how big were the track changes over the course of that session? We saw improvements of about 5-6 seconds.
Yeah, and that was a legit improvement. So I think the first lap I set was a 122, and then I set a 117 at the end. It was gradually improving throughout the session, but it was crazy how quick it was improving.
Yeah, still brilliant session. As for the weather forecast for this race, is it looking dry throughout, or are you just going to pray for that bit of rain to hopefully get you that elusive first win of the season?
I mean, it's looking dry on the outlook, so I doubt it, but you can only hope, really. I love driving in the wet, so it'll be nice.
Yeah, absolutely. Obviously, interesting championship position. I'm gonna mention that as well. Alpine looking good for the constructors' championship fight as well. Not too far behind the front teams of Mercedes and especially Ferrari have just run away with a little bit. As for the drivers' championship, you got Underjet coming up behind you into turn 1. Then you got Tess in P3. Are you just gonna consider the whole championship battle a little bit if you have to go defensive? You're in a bit of a different position than Tess, especially in the championship, aren't you?
I mean, it's the halfway point of the season. Things can change. At the end of the day, I've got my race to run, so I've got my points to get. So obviously, if the guys ahead want to try and take those points off me, they're going to have to take them off me. I'm not going to just give them.
Yeah, I've just gotta make one little remark as well. I don't know if when you'll see this one coming. Obviously, you've had some misfortune around this circuit in the past. What could have been a win for you was taken away by myself and I believe Mr. A beat in the stewards room after the race for a safety car restart infringement. How careful will you play it if you're leading by about lap 20?
So you've got a better memory than me. I'll just do what I do normally, I think. I obviously have my own way of doing safety car restarts back in the pack up, so that'll be my plan when I go. Obviously, that'll be up to me. No one will know that one.
Yeah, absolutely. And then one final question then. Are we going to have what I believe is a 4th different race winner this season at the end of these next 45 minutes?
Oh, I hope. You can only hope and I can only hope. That's obviously what I'm trying to do every single race. And yeah, just do my best. If it doesn't result in a win, it doesn't result in a win. We just got to keep moving on.
Absolutely, that's all you can hope for. Thank you very much, Matty. Despite the audio issues for joining, we'll work on improving this throughout the season, no doubt. Thank you very much for joining, and best of luck to you for the Grand Prix this come. There you almost heard then from Matty Adam 98 there in a little bit of an interview. I do very much apologize about the audio quality, which would have been absolutely dreadful by my estimate. As I can confirm as well that the ready up to start the race has been given, will be going in just a moment. But yeah, that audio quality, I've not heard it yet. I'll rewatch it after the race. I would assume it's absolutely shocking, but well, we got a interview working finally, so I'm happy with that. Right then, so we should be going in just a couple of seconds for the Dutch Grand Prix. 36 laps, if I'm not mistaken, of racing action coming up around the circuit where it can be very, very hard to overtake. Pole position is going to be crucial for Martin. Keeping that lead into turn 1 is going to be massive for this race. It's a short pit stop around here. Should be a relatively simple one-stop, medium to hards. I don't see any other strategies really being viable. Is Squidge going to try anything from P8? No, he doesn't really have to at the moment. Just got to run his own race and catch up gradually to the guys in front of him. He should have pace to blast past a couple of them in the dry, but that depends on how much practice he's going to done early on here during the week. So then, Matty on pole, followed by Undercheck in P2, Tess in P3. Djokovic sitting in P4. We'll go through the starting tyres for everyone as well. You got them up on your screen now. Luna in P5 in her Sauber, starting on the mediums, followed by Beatty on the hards. He'll struggle a little bit throughout those opening laps. Noah, Squidge, Wilco, and Jamer are all electing to go on the yellows drive medium tyre, while Wigan goes onto the hards. Ray and Recon, medium tyres for them, P12 and P13. Then we have Iwat in 14th. What is he going to be able to do from there? He's going to run it long. But Mercedes splitting strategies, rather unusually. They usually go for exactly the same moves throughout a race. Mack is in 15th, last of the medium runners. Then Hybrid, Holman, and Kit all opting to go long onto a set of hard tyres. This is going to be an interesting one as we're nearing the end of the formation lap. Matty then into the final couple of corners, just gonna back everything up nice and tidy, weaving to get those tires heated up. Ondercheck is just going to be focusing on that start. You usually want the outside heading into turn 1 here, and that is what Matty Adam is going to get, if I'm not mistaken. Ondercheck needs to get a decisively better start here in order to get ahead. And what is Tess going to be able to do? He has got to push the limits a little bit now. The gap between Squidge and Tess at the front has expanded to 40 points. It's a 73-point increase for Squidge over Tess over the last 3 races. That's unprecedented in any F1 Championship battle history. Tess has been in an awful run of form since we got into Europe. Now he's hoping to change that in the Dutch Grand Prix. Here in Zandvoort, we're in for one of the most exciting races of the season, I'm sure. Matty Adam on pole position for the Dutch Grand Prix. Here we go. As we have 5 red lights, and it's lights on, away we go, and Matty does get away very well. Luna just already trying to pull a little move on Tess, maybe into turn 1, ends up being forced wide by Djokovic there, and Wigan is forced onto the gravel trap. But it's a very good start for Matty Adam, who holds the lead of the Grand Prix. From Ondercheck, Tess, Djokovic and Luna, the top 5 remains unchanged. Bad start for Wigan, down 4 positions. Bad start for Ray. Good start for Kit, up 5 positions, and Iwads up in top 10 as well. But very, very calm and controlled throughout the first couple of corners for the front pack. Noah getting past ABT. We're predicting he'd have a little bit of a difficult time at the start, as Hybrid is out of this race, and we have a full car safety car. Hybrid, the podium finisher from last week out. His race ends after only 5 corners, I'm afraid. That is Hybrid out for the Dutch Grand Prix. So then Red Bull putting all their hopes on Kit. Too early of a virtual safety car or even a full safety car for anyone to do anything strategically. I think this isn't going to transition into a full safety car. I think they'll just be good enough for a virtual. But I couldn't see anyone really attempting anything unless they're really bold. It's a short pit stop here, mind you. You're not going to be gaining too much. Here we go then. Green flag racing is underway, and Matty, with the aid of that virtual safety car, has been helped a little bit on his opening lap. Now then, it's defending away from Ondercheck, because DRS will be enabled at the end of this lap. Oh, sorry, in the middle part of this lap, DRS is already going to be enabled. So now the defending will start. How quick of a car does Ondercheck have in a straight line? How well is Matty going to be able to defend? How aggressively is Tess going to be able to attack the cars ahead of him? Djokovic is on his tail as well. Luna's on his tail. Noah is sticking with. Then we have a little bit of a gap to a BT, who's going to have to go very defensive here, because Squidge is right on his chuff on a better medium tire and a championship to think about. So I don't think that Squidge is going to want to wait too long with this one. Gets a good run into the chicane. He's going to think about throwing one down the inside into the braking zone. No. He's going to want to wait till we get to the start-finish straight to get this done. But he waits a little bit too long, and he clips the back of BT. And that, might have been a bit clumsy for Squidge there. And that'll be investigated after the race. Ondercheck has, taken the lead away from Matty Adam. Overtaking then is absolutely possible in that start-finish straight as we're heading on to lap 3. Ondercheck in the lead, followed by Matty and then Tess. Luna 1.2 down and needs to reestablish a bit of pace in order to stick with these top 3, but very, very hard to do so, because Djokovic is now going to be right on her to get that P4 back that he has lost on the opening laps. Noah up 1 position, a lot of people up several positions. Obviously we're looking at BT, who's down 11, who's already had a dreaded start to the Grand Prix, mainly due to the effort of Squidge 2017, from what I could see. Will hold any judgment on that one. So what I'm interested in, how easily is overtaking done on the start-finish straight? We're about to find out. DRS opens relatively early here. Ondercheck in P1 now with Matty about half a second behind. DRS opens before you even enter the corner, really. And he goes on all the way to turn 1. And yeah, overtaking is not going to be too difficult around here, let me tell you that. Because Matty is straight back into P1. What I thought was going to be one of the hardest races of the season to overtake at, it is proving to be a piece of cake, as Djokovic has been able to get past Luna and now is free to go after Tess, who's already, though, 2 seconds down the road. This is a nightmare scenario for Squidge as well, who will have a good idea of what happened between himself and a BT. Tess is up at a P3, Squidge is up at a P7, could be facing punishment after the race. And is 3.2 seconds down on Noah. It's not going to be easy to catch. It's not going to be easy to overtake. Troublesome situation here for Squidge in Zandvoort. They're not the best qualifying and has not had the optimal start to this race. Has he just gone past ABT? He probably should have on that opening lap. Everything, or sorry, not on the opening lap, in the fast DRS zone. Everything could have been golden. Say BT's into the pit lane again. Is that for a second front wing, or is it for a set of hard tyres? Maybe try to go to the end here. Might have been both. I'm not quite sure. But yeah, here you see the devastating effects of this. BT almost lapped on lap 5, and this has turned into a horrendous race for BT, who is going to be in urgent need of a safety car. It won't be long before he starts getting blue flags now. So here we go, Matty still leading then, holding off on her check on that previous straight for at least a lap, which is telling me this is one of those races win. Oh! As it gets close between Djokovic and Noah then. Noah may be trying something, Djokovic shutting the door on him, losing a bit of grip through the right-handers then is Djokovic. Noah trying to follow closely. Luna right now, one holding this little pack up. So I'm sure Squidge is quite happy with this current situation. He's able to run in clear air, whilst Luna, Djokovic and Noah are wasting time battling each other. As for Undercheck, 5 attempts behind Matty and might be able to get a move on. And as we can see, ABT already getting blue flags of several cars. Is going to have to let Luna, Djokovic and Noah go quite soon as well. And obviously with the close proximity of everyone running, as here comes Ondracek down the inside into turn 1. Matty going to defend the outside. Here we're going to see some side-by-side battling into turn 1 to find out which is better, and it's definitely the outside line as Matty holds on. The problem for ABT now is everyone's running in such close proximity that he's very quickly going to find himself a lap behind even the guys down in P9 and P10. You see, those aren't far behind. The Ferrari's behind now, and they'll be on him in a couple of laps time. When he has to let go of them, he'll be right on the Haas, and after that he'll be right ahead of the Alpine Haas and Mercedes of Ray, Wilco and Iwat. So BT right now found himself in probably the worst position you could be in after lap 6 of a Grand Prix. Do not envy his position at all throughout this race. It was all caused by an incident on lap 3 if I'm not mistaken. There we go then, Djokovic versus Luno seemingly has a very, very slippery car in a straight line. Seems hard to overtake, but she does have those medium tires as well. Makes it a bit harder to get past. Djokovic on the hard tires, no on the medium. So Noah's going to be increasingly frustrated. Just sitting behind waiting as we have a yellow flag, and a beat is retired from this session in the final corner. And how has that happened? Carbon fiber everywhere through the final corner, and BT's out, and we have a full safety car. Is that a loss of grip, or what is going on there for ABT, whose race ends in absolute disaster after what was a promising qualifying session for BT as well? That's actually heartbreaking. Qualified in P6, down into last on the opening laps, and out on lap 6 out of 36 here. Full car safety car then, and now it's still too early to see anyone come into the pit lane unless you're at the back and have nothing to lose. Medium tires on for Holman and Kit. Mac is Wigan. Anyone on the hards can't pit, it's way too early, but if you're on the mediums, might as well go in and slap on another set of mediums if you won't lose too much. Just give yourself a bit of a tire advantage, but we've not done too many racing laps. We've done about 5 laps worth of racing on these tires so far. They'll start to get a bit iffy, but it won't be one. So then, Matty leading a safety car restart around Zandvoort. I commented on this earlier on. This is a place where it has gone wrong for him doing this exact thing in the past. I'm sure he's not gonna wanna relive those memories that he apparently didn't have. I very vividly remember him sat there screaming in the background as we handed out the penalty. No, 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 as he knew what was coming. So then, Matty will have learned his lesson from very, very many years ago, should be added. I believe this was back in like season 2 or something. Going back all the way to 2021, that'd be. So then, Matty catching back up to the safety car pack is going to lead this field away, and everyone's catching up apart from Holman and Kit, who's quite far back. So, Holman, Kit going very, very slowly. Is that because of a delta time they got added on to them? Because I would like them to get a move on. As Macus decides to go into the pit lane as well, get a cheap pit stop. However, he's going to lose track position because of it. Both of those cars just getting a small advantage being on the soft tire that's going to deteriorate rather quickly. Now, how is Wigan going to reason as well, being on a hard tire? He can't really pit, can he? As I think we've just juggled Matty's memory into action there, if you can see in the Twitch chat. And also ABT seemingly having a problem with his cold ties, just letting go in that final corner. But apparently we've juggled Matty's memory now a little bit, and he now fully remembers what exactly not to do for a safety car restart around here. So then a pack of 3, still 17 seconds behind the safety car. A bit surprised actually that someone like a Mr. Wilco hasn't gonna do anything about it. Would only lose 2 positions to Iwatts and Wigan. Running a very different strategy. Same could be said for basically anyone. If you're someone like Squidge, for example, why not just gamble for a set of hard tires on 30 laps to go, see what happens. But they'll have good data on what's viable and not around here. So then, Matty on the check and Tess. The top 3 remains unchanged. Every other position has switched hand. Luna up 1 place on Djokovic. Djokovic getting a bit of an advantage now on his hard tires. Just being able to cool them down a little bit and being able to take them even further into this race. Maybe being able to go hard soft. So here we go then with Matty Adam. Gonna back the field up immensely. You can just see 50 kilometers an hour through these corners. He's hardly moving, down to 40 kilometers an hour on the apex. Absolutely incredible. Safety cars coming into the pit lane very soon. Matty wanted to give himself maximum flexibility in order when he goes. It's a late safety car call in here. As there we go, the safety car is in the pit lane. Matty may now restart this race at his will. He does not want to give Ondrejek a toe down that back straight though. It's a late line. But he gets a perfect jump. He doesn't get a perfect launch though. A lot of wheel spin, but he absolutely jumps Ondrejek. He allows Tess to just follow through a little bit. And can Tess potentially pull something on Ondrejek here? He's going to get close, but not close enough. The Ferrari of Squidge wiggling a little bit to maybe have a go at Noah as well, but he's not to be. But this was good for Squidge getting back into the race on his medium tires. Yellow flag through sector 1. That is Recon, who's had a bad restart. He's round after the first corner into turn 2. And now back out on circuit. The Hasses, P15 and 16, running an unusually bad race for him. As for Luna, looking ahead towards Tess, but especially looking backwards towards what is now Noah. Djokovic has been overtaking here on the safety car restart. I believe there was a snap of oversteer as well for, was that Ray? Yeah, it would have been, oh sorry, Jamar, who's now been overtaken by Ray. Djokovic and Squid side by side with each other, and Djokovic is not having a good restart onto the gravel, and that should allow Squid to go around the outside of him, heading into the last two corners. Djokovic still on the outside, doing well to hold on here, but Squidge surely is going to get this done as we get onto the start-finish straight. Djokovic making contact with the wall, and he's all over the place. Completely unfocused now on this lap is Djokovic. It's mistake after mistake. But somehow he is hanging on. No, he's not, and that's Djokovic into the wall. That was a long time coming. We have another safety car here, but that was a lap that was always somehow going to end in absolute disaster for Djokovic. It was all over the place, and after turn one, just being put under heavy pressure by Squidge for a long time, Djokovic did crack. Recon drive-through penalty for speeding under the safety car. That is overspeeding during the Delta. At least Recon is lost, but he'll be forced to serve that after the safety car has come in, so it'll be about a 10-second time penalty when the safety car comes in. He'll be having to serve within 3 laps. Matty, Ondrzejczyk and Tess in that order. Matty's going to be fuming with this, actually having built a bit of an advantage over Ondrzejczyk, just not being able to get on with his race. Ondrzejczyk now having a bit of knowledge as what Matty's going to want to do on a restart as well. It's not going to make it as easy on him this time around. We're lap 11 out of 36 into this Grand Prix. It's a long way to go. Not even a third way in, as Matty and Ondrzejczyk and Tess on their mediums all decide to come in. That's relatively early. 24 laps to go on a set of hard tyres. Is that viable? Wait and see. Where is Matty going to be able to get out? Is he going to be able to get out cleanly, or is it going to be jumped by anyone? No, Matty gets out cleanly. However, Tess has jumped Ondrzejczyk in the pit lane. Such is the order of everything with the underlying confusion. I believe it's hard tyres on for absolutely anyone who can. So Jamar now leads this Grand Prix on his medium tyres, followed by Iwat on the hards. Pullman on mediums, followed by Kit on mediums. And Kit is on very fresh mediums, mind you. He's not going to disappear in a long way, so they'll be having to overtake him on circuit. Max in P5 on soft as well. This is actually going to be a bit of work for Matty, Tess, and Ondrzejczyk now over the next couple of laps to get past these slower cars, because they're on decent tyres. They're on very decent tyres, and now you can see a couple of cars up 9, 12, 14 and 10 positions respectively. Everyone right now is almost down a lot of positions, apart from Ray, who's just sitting there, starting P12 and right now finishing in P12, taking inspiration from the great Lewis Hamilton. So then you've got the tyre graphs up on your left hand side of your screen. Jamar and Iwat have been out longest, 11 laps on their respective tyres. Iwat should be in significantly better shape now after 11 laps worth of running, sorry, 13 laps worth of running now on those hards. So Jamar's going to be controlling this safety car restart then. Matty in P6, very much in the midfield then. And how did everything work out for Djokovic? He's on a set of soft tyres, so he's going aggressive towards the end of this race for whatever reason, not just bolting on a set of hards and trying to make the best of it. But then again, it's a short pit stop around here. It could be a soft to medium for Djokovic if you can get about 14 laps out of that medium tyre. There should be a viable strategy. About 10 laps on the softs, 14 on the mediums, and somewhere around 18 to 24 probably on the set of halves. Which is in range for what everyone wants to do now. As hopefully, yeah, the safety car's in this lap. Now it's up to Jamar Van to control the speed of everything. Just keep one constant speed, and as soon as everything bunches up, then it is on Jamar to get this race restarted. So then as Jamar goes early, Jamar might have gone too early here. The safety car is not yet in the pit lane. I believe it was just held back a little bit by the game there potentially. But now he goes. It's a bad restart because iWatts is all over him. And that is inexperience that went too early. The safety car wasn't quite in yet. And iWatts almost punishing him for that mistake, but not quite. Matty now, I'm very, very interested to see how is he going to get by Marcus and Kit in as efficient way as possible. There's battling going on meanwhile. Mr. Wilco around the outside, just ahead of Ray, trying to go on Noah. Squidge has had some sort of problem down in position on Luna. Luna might have just had him. I thought Squidge would have been higher up. That's just muscle memory from being used to seeing him win races. No offense meant. Matty, P6 right now, then right behind Marcus. No DRS is available until this point next lap. But could he get a run down the main straight that's sufficient to get past the car as well? I don't think Max or Kid would fight this one especially hard. Meanwhile, Jamar is going to do everything he can to just run away a little bit on these next couple of laps. And they are, is Jamar, iWatts and Holman. Holman now on the inside of iWatts, but it's not the better line to take through turn 1, but it is if the Mercedes on the outside surrenders the line into the corner, and iWatts backs out very easily there. So then, Jamar, Holman and iWatts. Holman somehow gaining a lot of time on Jamar on that start-finish straight. Not quite sure how, as Matty's been able to get past Macas as well, who's now having to fend off from Tess. So then Matty now with Kit and then iWatts to clear. And iWatts is going to absolutely park the bus, you'd reckon, when Matty approached him. Tess running a very, very good race in P6 right now, putting pressure on the leader. So then DRS enabled at this stage of the race yet again. Lap 15 out of 36, just over 20 laps to go. As here we go, Matty on Kit then getting a run. Is he going to risk something down the braking zone? No, he's not. As Holman has taken lead of the Grand Prix away from Jamar on better tyres. Matty looks anxious to just do something on Kit. Is he going to try around the outside of turn 5? No, he's not. Just desperately trying to get something going here. Want to clear this track as soon as possible and put a bit of distance between himself and Tess, who is pushing him up the straight in Sector 1. Matter of how they use their tires as well. Squidge not seemingly comfortable on these hards at the moment. Not really catching Max, making any inroads. He's gonna pass Noah and Luna to begin with. Luna's had a bit of a tough start to the second stint. Here we go, and it's the battle we're looking at. Matty versus Kit W for 1, running in a very high points paying position right now. He's going to be hoping for at least one more safety car throughout this Grand Prix. A virtual safety car would do him even better, probably. As here we go. Matty on Kit. Tess on Matty, however, might be something we're interested in, but not on this lap. Not quite on this lap. Matty still behind the Red Bull, and the Mercedes still behind the Alpine, and there's an RB coming up to the scene, is on Reject 51, a one-time race winner this season in Saudi Arabia. So Van Holman bridging a little bit of an advantage now onto Jamar. He has the bit of tyres to do so. Holman is very, very quick on the day. Has got him one podium so far this season. Kit gets a free second time penalty. Is not really gonna concern Matty at the moment. All that'll concern him is getting by that Red Bull and doing it quickly. But right now, Kit still with defensive DRS. Don't think it's gonna matter on this occasion though. Matty's straight past him. Crucial for Tess now to get past the Red Bull as well, and Kit doesn't put up much of a fight. Front right lockup then for Tess heading into turn 1, but is not going to damage his tyres too bad. Needed to make that move stick as well. Couldn't be stuck behind Kit for another lap, whilst Matty might have had the opportunity to slip away. Now it gets interesting for Matty though. He's about to be very much double teamed by the lineup of Iwatts and Tess. That sounds weird when you say it like that, but it is very, very true. Those Mercedes are going to be playing a couple of games, you'd reckon, in order to get Tess just ahead of Matty, and then yeah, see what they're going to be able to do. The situation that Matty's going to be very, very wary of. See Iwatts already going slightly defensive heading into the braking zone for the chicane. And yellow flag sector 2, that is a problem for, it's Makis who's pummeling down the order a little bit, as well as Kit who's had a problem down to 10th now. Here we go then, Matty gonna be forced to go down the inside of Iwatts towards the braking zone. They're fast coming up on the Ferrari ahead. Matty should have that position locked down. I don't think there's too much Iwatts going to be able to do. He fights it, very much fights it, round the outside, turns into the inside for the next corner if he's still there. Matty just leaves him enough room. The two make contact. Is Iwatts going to come out ahead? Yes, he is. It's hard racing between the former two teammates and very good friends as well. Matty desperate to get past, knowing that as soon as he does get past, if he can, Iwatts is just probably going to let Tess go as well to not be a disturbance to him. Iwatts right now is doing a perfect job of making sure Matty cannot get past him while still maintaining a high amount of pressure on Jamar, keeping him very wary as he goes way too deep into the sweeping left-hander before the DRS straight. Next opportunity then is going to be down into turn 1 again. How well prepared is Matty this time around then? Tried the inside of Iwatts, did not work one bit. Now we're about to see Iwatts into the pit lane if this doesn't go too well. Yeah, I believe we might be. He's just disappeared. No, sorry, where is Iwatts actually? Oh, he's down the inside into turn 1, that's where he is. Matty's run the outside into turn 1, though it's a better line, and this time he's got that move covered. Iwatts now in P3, Tess is in P4, Jamar in 5th. As there we go, immediately Iwatts letting his teammate go as soon as he finds the opportunity to. That was well done by Iwatts as well, not putting himself at risk of losing the position to Jamar. It's not as easy as it looks letting go of a position like that without being attacked in himself. Matty now almost with a second's advantage on Tess. That's going to go down a little bit on this straight now with the ADAS on DRS. Matty would have been hoping to be able to break away, but it's not going to happen quite yet. And Tess very much following him along, and now Matty's going to have to go defensive for real. He'll have no defensive DRS to play around with. Tess is now well and truly going to go on the attack to maybe get that rebound win that he so desperately needs. As for Squidge 2017, he's currently sitting in 8th and not improving. we go then. Djokovic is doing a good job on his soft tyres, trying to recover. He's holding up Squidge a little bit, trying to attack Jamar. Recon 10-second time penalty for speeding in the pit lane. Not ideal. So we might soon be coming up on the optimal time for Holman to pit as well. Being able to do another 14 laps on a set of medium tyres to what is already done. So I don't think we'll be seeing Matty having to overtake Holman for the lead of the Grand Prix. As Kid has had a problem going through turn 1, he's got to worry that. Just finds his way on track, but there's a lot of doubt on those tyres. He'll be able to take it easy for about a sector or two. As here comes Tess on Matty, and there's nothing Matty's going to be able to do about that. The 2 bump wheels, I believe. Matty goes very, very, very wide towards the outside of the track, but Tess is up into P2. De facto P1 if Holman somehow can bridge these tyres out another 14 laps. But I don't see a way in the universe where that happens. If he does, it'll almost be worthy crowning him champion just for that drive alone. Wigan Van running within the points, just a half a second behind Squidge. He's not making any inroads now on Noah. Djokovic ahead of him, trying to make inroads on Iwas, the next car in line. He might be able to get that done into turn 1 if he plays his cards well. So I believe Iwas should be heading into the pit lane at just a moment now, as Kit's retired from this session in the pit lane, and that'll be a straight penalty coming his way. But I hope that doesn't trigger any type of issues, as Djokovic is heading into the pit lane himself. So, what happens for Djokovic then? It's a set of medium tyres to carry him to the end of the Grand Prix. He'll come out still running within the points, having to do a lot of recovery to get onto the back of even Ray. But he is running within the points, and there's a lot of laps still to go. 16 seconds down now. So a pit stop does cost you a considerable amount still. As Holman still out there, 16 lap all mediums. Might have just missed his pit window a little bit. Needs to get out ahead of Djokovic when he does pit, and he would. Yeah. Holman might have just missed his optimum pit window by a lap or two, unless he's trying to go onto the set of softs to the end. But as for now, he's about to start battling with Tess, Matty and Ondracek. He might actually be losing time when going to the soft tyres from doing the battling that's about to commence. He might have been better off just slapping another set of mediums to the end and running his own race here. Wait and see. This is a nightmare situation now for Matty Adam, who couldn't get past Holman. That just got overtaken by Tess on a much fresher tyres, and now well and truly up to Holman to try and deliver something here. Up to Matty to try to deliver something here to get past Holman as quick as possible before Tess can disappear down the road. That is going to happen quite quickly. The gap's already expanded 0.7 of a second. As then over a second now, and any advantage that Matty had on Tess now well and truly is gone. Tess has played this masterfully, being able to pass Holman when he did, allowing Matty not get a run him as well. Now Matty has got to push like a madman to get past. But he is now 1.3 seconds down to Mercedes, who does give him a little bit of a favour into turn 1. Looked like a double front lockup from Tess there. It could have been a little bit clumsy going onto the brakes. As Ray is doing battle with Wigan for P7 and P8, and this is just behind Squidge, who's not making any inroads right now on Noah whatsoever. So Squid seemingly just does not have the pace today. Meanwhile, his championship rival is leading this race. Matty P2, Holman currently sitting in P3, but needs to come into the pit lane. And he's losing... He's not losing a pit window on iWatts, but I might actually be losing a pit window on iWatts quite soon if he's not careful. So Holman needs to start considering when he's going to come into the pit lane. This is already costing him a bit of time, and costing Undercheck considerable time now as well. So when DRS enabled, this could be a problem for Holman, as I believe he wanted to come into the... Or did Holman maybe want to come into the pits there? Didn't signal it early enough for Undercheck to go around his outside, as Noah actually comes into the pit lane with 10 laps to go. It's interesting. Has he just seen a window for himself to get onto a set of soft tyres for the end? Medium tyres going on actually. Doesn't want to be on the hards to the end, as I thought those Williams were just going to collide for a moment there, even though it's not physically possible. So Noah spotted a window for himself that it didn't quite work, but it almost worked, and that's the thing you've got to be aiming for. But it did not get out of iWatts and Jamer, and now he's going to be forced to re-overtake those cars out on circuit. Let me tell you, that pleases probably Squidge 2017, especially the lineup for Alpine, who's right now running a P2 and P5. A very good result for them. Expect Holman in a couple of laps, maybe at the end of this one, will be a P2 and P4, and that means Squidge is running well within the parameters of being able to get a top 5 here, maybe even a top 4 if he can get past Ray. So this has changed Squidge's rate significantly, has Noah's pit stop. Yeah, Holman then comes into the pit lane, maybe a lap too late. I don't know if he... sorry, I don't know if he was forced to stay onto the track after being overtaken by Undercheck there a lap ago. As Tess then now has been able to run away with this race in a bit of a, I'm not going to call it a boring fashion, a bit of an unfortunate fashion with Holman being in the way there, but Tess played it to absolute perfection and has now bridged a gap of 1.6 seconds to Matty Adam, who's running in P2 and seems like the ever-changing or everlasting, P2 in this league at the moment. Can't break away from that position and can't get that elusive win that's still haunting him this season. I'm sure will come. It always comes to Matty somehow over the course of the season. But it could be difficult here in the Netherlands today. Tess, 1.7 seconds lead advantage out front with 10 laps to go. As Jamer and Noah side by side heading through the left-hander onto the DRS straight actually. Bit of an unorthodox overtaking spot by Noah, but if you make it work, you make it work. And now he's on the back of iWatts and then on the back of Holman. Came in just in the nick of time on his soft tyres. We'll keep an eye on the gap between Holman and Squidge right now. It's 9.5 seconds to begin with. See if those soft tyres can actually enable them to start closing a little bit. Here is Noah on iWatts and going to make that relatively easy. P7 and upwards for Noah 48. 9.5, now 9 seconds, 8.9. Yeah, this could absolutely prove into something for Holman here if these soft tyres hold on for a couple of laps. If he keeps improving at this rate, he will be on Squidge within 5 or 6 laps. It's all he needs to in order to maybe get that top 5 back. Squidge has got to worry that. As Jamer now is hunting iWatts for what is now crucial points in the in the Constructors' Championship. Test taking a lot of points away out of Squidge this weekend. All the Jamer can do is focus on beating his rival within Mercedes, who is iWatts. Djokovic is running a very difficult race down in P15, down and out right now. It's not been Djokovic's season this. Last season I was still getting consistent results. This season, very up and down, but mostly down so far, as Jamer has been able to get past iWatts then into turn 1, is up to top 8. So on board with Mac is then battling away with Luna through turn 1. Luna is looking at a good points finish. Mac has had a bit of a difficult season as well within the bottom half. We could also have a look at, I'm not going to say the collapse of Haas, but the struggles of Haas this weekend. Team that's usually very much up there battling away for a top 6, top 7. Now find himself 13th and 14th, which is basically last with this field. Only ahead of Djokovic, who is coming up on the scene by the look of things. So Mac is done for P11 and a chance at the points, maybe even however distant it may be. He's going to have one go here at Luna, you would assume, into turn 1. So as Mac is going to play this, we know the outside is significantly better for getting the job done. He's nowhere near through that final corner. Is that a bit of a mistake, or is Luna just that much quicker through the penultimate and final? You can see Mac is just looking for a little bit more grip to the outside there, but is not to be found. 1.7 seconds an advantage for Tess on Matty now, and he can start thinking about just cruising it home. Doesn't need to push too hard, just needs to maintain over a second's worth of an advantage, and Tess will finally be on the top step of an NEF1 podium once again to renew his championship challenge. As Noah's making these mediums work very well as well. He's within 5 seconds now, within 4 seconds even, on those medium tires, having cleared Holman. So efficient work. This, however, means that Holman is within 5 seconds worth of Squidge now. So, two-stop definitely viable strategy around here tonight. There's J-Mars on the back of Holman now as well, and I was very much on the back of J-Mar. Max still on the back of Luna. And the stuff going on between Djokovic and Recon into turn 1. That's Recon just getting a bit too happy mid-corner. Then to drive into the back of the Williams. So Matty then trying to close his rival down, but nothing budging right now one bit. He's running out of laps here, 5 laps to go, and he can't get within 1 second. Right now can't get within a second and a half either. J-Mar Vance within a second of Holman now, and it's actually closing in. Now those soft tires of Holman already starting to deteriorate. That's closing speed if I've ever seen it. J-Mar down the inside. Is he going to take Holman a bit wide? Now he's going to stick very much to the inside. That's a bit of a weird line, which is all but going to give Holman all the bit of momentum throughout that corner. And he's leaving the door open for iWatts to have a look down the inside of him as well. What's almost said thank you very much. He said thank you very much. I'm going to have a look if nothing else. But it didn't really amount to anything. As Noah wants to in the back of Squidge now. Squidge has not had the best of races here. He's now looking at tops a P6 finish. That's a problem and a half that Recon must have had. But I don't understand how it's been had. Crashed out on a straight coming out of the pit lane. It's a very, very weird one. Recon's out of this race in P15. Squidge now running P6, 5 seconds ahead of Holman, could prove crucial. J-Mar now ahead of Holman as well, and them two do battling, just going to slow them down even further, but J-Mar is very much pushing that Aston Martin around. The ever Aston Martin just on the fringes of the points right now in P11. It's been a chaotic race this for DNFs so far. And Tess is just about to be able to call this a bag. 2 seconds worth of advantage with 3 laps to go. Oh, as there goes both Jamer and Iwat on home and loses 2 positions in one fell swoop. Jamer now sitting P7, so it's a 6 and 7 for Ferrari. It's a 3 and 5 for Racing Bulls. It's a 2 and 4 for Alpine. It's a 1 and 8 for Mercedes. So, it's the front runners for the constructors we expected. Maybe not in the order we expected. Holman fighting back on Iwat, and Jamer is now from P7 down to P9 briefly and back up to P8 in just the span of a corner. And this is a battle we're going to keep an eye on throughout the rest of this race. Let me show you that. Wilco is attacking Mackes for P11. He might just be able to bag it. Question is Wigan too far gone? Yeah, he absolutely is. So Wigan at the moment on his way to secure yet another points finish, which will be crucial for him as his teammate lacking currently in that department, although outscoring him pretty heavily over the course of the season, with a couple of really consistent results there a couple of weeks ago as well for Djokovic. Those 10-pointers raining in every other week, it felt like. Which is hard to do in this league now when it's gone so much more competitive than it had, especially in the early days. But now the level of driving is so incredibly high that level you were on to win races back in Season 1, Season 2 would maybe get you into the points now. And I'm speaking from experience, as that's unforced from Jamer, and what is he doing? That might have cost him chances and major points this weekend. I don't know why he's gone onto that grass, but he has for whatever reason. That is down from P7 to P9, and as the race is coming to its closing, we have a lap and a half to go, and I think we can almost confirm now that Tess will be back to winning ways in New Era, and this is going to give a big boost to his championship hunt. You know exactly what he needed after a couple of weeks where it looked down and out. Tess is 1 lap away from clinching crucial points in that title battle. Jamer is going to do everything he can to just get past the Aston Martin of Holman. He absolutely flies past on this occasion. As I was hoping for a bit of a wet Grand Prix, we had an interesting wet qualifying session. No rain to be coming towards the Grand Prix then, but it's been very, very good regardless, even though it's been a bit chaotic at times. But here we go for the final time with Tess, who has driven this race beautifully. Started in P3, not the best qualifying session, but certainly not bad. He somehow just managed to outdo Ondercheck into the pit lane, and then after that it's been smooth sailing once Holman got away from Matty over a lap. Tess said, "Thank you, I'll use this and not look back." The last couple of weeks have been a disaster for this man. Unmitigated disaster for leading the championship to trailing by 40 points. Now he mounts the comeback. The reigning champion takes the win in Zandvoort to win the Dutch Grand Prix. Tess is victorious once again in NEF1 after a 3-week hiatus. Matty comes across to finish P2 yet again. He'll be disappointed with that, I'm sure, but it's another 18 points to his championship campaign. Will be very, very happy with that. Outscoring Ondercheck as well, who's coming up behind them. Ray is finishing P4 in this race, followed by Noah in P5. Squidge in P6, with Iwat doing everything he can and taking home a very, very well-earned P7. Jamer just behind Iwat, who mentioned 0.2 of a second in P8. Holman in P9. Wigan taking home a point. Could have almost been 2 there. There's a point for P10. But brilliant, brilliant race there from Tess, and that'll do wonders for his confidence as we're heading into the next stage of the season. Next week out, it is going to be the Mystery Grand Prix, so practice is not going to matter because none of the drivers know what we're doing before we are doing it. It's all in my hands, and the decision of what we are doing has been made just a little while ago, a couple of days or a week ago. So it is absolutely set in motion. So the drivers are not going to know what is coming up just until the 5-minute warning before we start the lobby. Basically, everyone will have to be present. So it'll be a no practice race where anything can happen. How the drivers adjust to those situations went very, very well the last time out. Tess then mounts a critical comeback in the Drivers' Championship. And are we going to see something that could be going down to the very, very wire? We'll have to wait and see. Matty, yet again, a P2 finish in Alpine. Good points for Alpine, I believe, who are the top scoring constructor of the weekend. If I'm not mistaken, I might be. And then also a brilliant podium once again to Ondrejek to see off the Dutch Grand Prix for this season. So then, that has been it for the Dutch Grand Prix from our side. Thank you very much for watching. It's going to be an absolutely brilliant one once we're back in 7 days' time. So don't miss out on that one. We'll be back before not too long. Once again, congratulations to Tess on his victory. Once again, we'll see you in 1 week's time. Take care, everyone. Stay safe, and peace out.